Empire, the TV show, Lucious Lyon, you know, the mogul, the grown man, the music king. But let's talk about his childhood. That's a whole other story. And honestly, I believe a lot of it is inspired by a real-life case out of Philadelphia, the Kevin Hughes story. Now, just to give you a gist, Kevin Hughes made the news in 1979 for the murder of Rochelle Graham, a 9-year-old little girl. He was convicted of that murder and sentenced to die originally, but that sentence was overturned. Today, he is still in prison, serving life. So Lee Daniels, the creator of Empire, has openly said that he pulls from real-life cases, real-life situations, and true stories when he's building his characters. He has said specifically that he pulls from his own life experiences he's had with other people. And personally, I think that it's possible newspaper headlines could have caught his attention at some point. I do believe the writers took bits and pieces of Kevin's life and built Dwight. But that's just my personal opinion and feeling. So let's examine it and see what you guys think. Now, outside of Philly, most people probably have never heard of Kevin Hughes or the Rochelle Graham case. It was one of those local true crime stories you just really have never heard about unless you were from there. So let's talk about the inspiration for Lucious Lyon's character as a child. We all know Lucious the man. Okay, people have speculated or they have caught on that the adult character of Lucious Lyon probably is inspired by Sean Puffy Combs, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, and some have even speculated that parts of Lucious Lyon's story was inspired by Jay-Z. But nobody has really talked about the childhood, or I haven't heard anybody really talk about the childhood. And also, let me clarify. I am not saying Lucious Lyon's childhood is 100% Kevin Hughes' story. No, I don't think it is, but I think a lot of it is. Okay. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tracy Curry-Reyes. I'm a writer, and I've been examining movies based on true stories and true crimes for 20 years. What made me think that Kevin Hughes' story inspired Lucious Lyon's childhood story? I was putting together a YouTube crime documentary about the Kevin Hughes Rochelle Graham case. Now, this is not the first time that I have revisited that story, but for some reason when I watched the documentary Killer Kids again, and I was looking at the reenactment scene, immediately that made me think of the Kevin Hughes' case. So I went back and I reviewed some of Empire's episodes, and I thought, okay, Lucious Lyon's childhood is most likely inspired by Kevin Hughes' childhood. So I'm going to give you a few nuggets and pebbles that lead you back to the real case, okay? So first of all, both Kevin Hughes and Lucious Lyon grew up in Philadelphia. They both grew up in abject poverty. Lucious Lyon and Kevin Hughes both had moms who suffered from mental illness and who mistreated them severely. Now, Kevin's mother used to laugh at him. And I thought I remembered a scene like that in Empire's TV series during one of Lucious Lyon's flashbacks, but I can't be sure of it. In any event, both of their mothers abandoned them and left them homeless orphans looking for food on the seedy streets of Philadelphia. So let's talk about the mental health component. Now, in the TV show Empire, mental health is a central theme. Lucious Lyon has a mentally ill son named Andre, who inherited the disease from his grandmother, Leah. Now, again, Leah is Lucious's mother. So somehow it skips Lucious and Andre gets it. At times, Lucious Lyon is driven to murder, and he knows that he is damaged, but for the most part, we as viewers see a very controlled Lucious Lyon who knows how to take that rage and pour it into his business. Now, in the Kevin Hughes story, the real story, his mother Rebecca had schizophrenia, And Hughes went on to develop some disorders, some mental disorders as well. Okay, let's talk about the age of 9 and 1979. Let's talk about the significance of those numbers. Now, in Empire's TV show, Lucious Lyon was around 9 years old when his mother Leah tried to unalive herself in front of him. Kevin Hughes' mother did the same thing. He was around 9 years old or younger when she would make these attempts on her own life. That was one of the things that had a great impact on Kevin. His mom tried to unalive herself right in front of him. That was a significant part of Empire's story too. You know, that's what affected Lucious the most, him seeing his mother do this. In fact, there is a scene in Empire where Lucious is talking to Cookie, and he's telling her about all of this, and she says to him, "She did this right in front of you?" It shocked her to hear that Lucious had actually witnessed his mother doing that. Now, in one scene, Lucious takes his son to visit his grandmother's grave. Leah supposedly has passed away, and it says she passed away in 1979. The Kevin Hughes Rochelle Graham case made headlines in March of 1979. Rochelle Graham was 9 years old when she was murdered and left in that abandoned house. Okay, let's talk about homeless orphans. In Empire's TV show, what we learn next is Dwight's mother, Leah, was removed from his life. His father is arrested, and at that point, Dwight, aka Lucious, was suddenly without parents. Okay, he's an orphan on the seedy streets of Philadelphia. Lucious Lyon's mother, Leah Mary, is sent to a mental institution. A neighbor took care of him until social services could arrive. Now, he runs away from the neighbor's house because he doesn't want to be placed in foster care. That's what he tells Cookie in Empire. And he's telling her this in an intimate conversation with her about how he had to live on the streets and eat out of garbage cans. In real life, Kevin Hughes was between the ages of 9 and 11, and he roamed the streets to look for food. That was one of the reasons he wanted a job as soon as he was old enough to legally work, so he wouldn't ever have to worry about being hungry again. Kevin Hughes was ripped from his mother's home in California and sent to live with his grandmother in Philadelphia, and his grandmother's name was also Mary. So Kevin Hughes nor Lucious Lyon were safe around their mothers. Remember that scene in Empire where Leah tries to off herself in front of Dwight? In the Kevin Hughes story, his mother Rebecca did the same thing. She attempted to unalive herself in front of Kevin several times, though not in the same way. Later, Kevin tried to unalive himself and was removed from his mother's home and sent to live with his grandmother in Philadelphia because he had made that attempt on his own life. That's one of the reasons he was removed. Now, back in 1979, Kevin's uncle said that there's a little bit of a discrepancy about the ages. My sources say he was 9. Kevin's uncle is very clear that he was around 9 years old when this took place. And in later years, an aunt remembered him being around 11. So he was between the ages of 9 and 11 when this happened. A life of crime and the significance of the number 16. Now, the number 16 is important in both Lucius' story as well as Kevin's story. While on the streets, Lucius met a 16-year-old dealer who taught him how to hustle, taught him how to get money by selling bags of, okay? In the real story, Kevin Hughes was 16 and he delivered bags of groceries for cash. So they were both hustlers and they were both obsessed with having a stash of cash. And that was because of what they had experienced. You know, they never wanted to be hungry again, and they never wanted to be caught without money. Let's talk about the significance of abandoned buildings. Abandoned buildings were a central theme in both of their lives. While on the streets of Philly, Lucious Lyon lived in abandoned buildings. he called these buildings abandonments. That was his way, I guess, of transmuting his experience. You know, he had a strong desire to overcome his circumstances and to be wealthy. He didn't want to just survive. Kevin Hughes didn't have the same mindset. Something else, I think, stopped him from being able to overcome his circumstances. But you know, in the real story, Kevin Hughes' mother did a lot more damage to him than Leah did to Dwight. And Empire does not touch that part of the story. Now, we're still talking about abandoned buildings. Kevin snatched innocent people off the streets of Philadelphia and dragged them into abandoned buildings and abandoned houses to do what he wanted to do with them. Read between the lines. Let's talk about the music component. Lucious Lyon is a music mogul and a singer. That was always his desire, to be in music. Okay? Interesting too, Kevin Hughes was a singer. That's a little known fact about him. His uncle said that he was a very, very good singer, and he could sing naturally. Though I don't believe he had any real way of developing that. And to be honest, I don't even know if Kevin really wanted to be a singer. I don't know if that's a career that he wanted. It seems to me that he had murder on his mind, not music. So both Kevin Hughes and Lucious Lyon were dangerous, and they both embarked on a life of crime. Now from there, they took different paths. Lucious Lyon became a music mogul and lived a plush life. Still very dangerous, but a dangerous plush life, okay? Kevin Hughes was a danger to society. He preyed upon innocent people. So his life continued to down spiral until he was finally caught for the murder of Rochelle Graham. Okay, so this was just a quick look at why I believe Lucious Lyon's childhood character on Empire's TV show was loosely inspired by killer Kevin Hughes. Now, for more information about Kevin Hughes, his background, and the Rochelle Graham story, be sure to watch the Rochelle Graham story coming up next. And don't forget to subscribe for more TV, movies, and true crime talk.